Evening, everybody. Today is the second day of Elul, Parshat Shoftim that we're reading in the Chumash, and Parshat Shoftim has a sentence, a pasuk, and we're going to learn it now. First, the shiur should go for Ilui Nishmas, my father, Michael ben Emmanuel Levi, and also for all of us. By learning Torah and connecting with Hashem, we should gives our blessings to the soldiers in Israel and all over the world. All Jews, all the captives should come back, and we should have our peace, inner peace and harmony among ourselves and also between us and the world. So this week's parsha says a very famous pasuk, and it says, "Ki Adam es asada," a man is compared to a tree. And the story in the Chumash, it goes that when you come to a city to conquer it, and you are surrounding the city, do not destroy a tree which bears fruit. A tree that does no fruit you are allowed to cut, but a tree that bears fruit you are not allowed to eliminate and cut, even though you need the wood or for whatever reason. And the Torah says, why shouldn't you cut a tree fruit, a tree that yields fruits? Because a tree is compared to a man. That's the answer in the Chumash. And the Gemara asks, is a man compared to a tree, that we shouldn't cut the tree? And the answer is that Talmidei Chachamim, a wise man, is compared to a tree. And the talk we're going to learn today in the next 15 minutes will be why are Chachamim compared to trees, and what can we learn from that, and how can we apply it in our daily life, especially as physicians, as caregivers. What is the connection between a tree and a human being? Okay. So we know that in the world there are 4 elements. There is Esh, so it's Tzomeach, Chai, Medaber, and Doimem. Inanimate, vegetations, animal life, and human beings. Okay? That exists in the whole world, and a person is a microcosm of the whole world. So a person in ourselves, we also contain these 4 types of living things, even though inanimate is not alive, but it has a spiritual component, because any physical element in this world has a spiritual component. Okay, so in our life, what is compared to a vegetation is our emotions. And what is compared to an animal is our intellect. And why is that? Vegetations are plants, especially trees, are always connected to their source of life. They have to be rooted in the ground. I mean, other vegetables like cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever, wheat, you cut them off the ground and you can take them somewhere else and you can still eat them. But a tree, in order for it to bear fruit, it has to be continuously connected to the ground. Okay? What in a human being is something which is very much connected to our own beings, to our essence, is our emotions, our behavior, our attitude. Okay? Intellect, on the other hand, is not very rooted in the person, and therefore intellect can be acquired. You can change what you think from something positive to, God forbid, negative, from negative to positive. You can understand something which is completely you don't agree with, but you can understand it, but you don't have to follow what it says. So there is, in a way, a disconnect between our intellect, which can be roaming, right? It can go around from one thought to another. It's compared to an animal. An animal can be born in one place in the world and can travel and go to another place in the world. It's not connected to its source of life. So was human being. I mean, I was born in Eretz Israel. everybody, and I traveled to the US, everybody was born somewhere else, and we can travel. We're not necessarily connected in our essence to the place where we were born. However, our emotions are internally connected to who we are. Okay, our emotions are more quintessential, more existential for our being. Okay, so a Talmid Chacham is compared to a tree. Those who came a minute late, we began saying that why is the Torah says do not eliminate a tree that yield fruit, because it compares to a Talmid Chacham. So what is a Talmid Chacham? What is a Chacham? A Chacham is a person who has both intellect and emotions, but their intellect affects their emotions. Okay? So somebody can be very smart, but can be very mean. Can be very smart, but can hate a lot of people. Maybe very smart, but use his wisdom to hurt other people, or use his wisdom how to kill other people. Okay? That's not called wisdom. That's called evil. Wisdom is considered true wisdom that when it connects the wisdom into your emotions, and the wisdom affect your emotions and improve your emotions in a way that your emotions will grow. Okay, and that is what a tree represents: growth, continuous growth, and continuously growing up higher and higher and higher. Even though a tree can be very tall, still yield fruits, but still, you know, if the tree is alive, it is connected to the ground, to its source of life with its roots. It has to absorb the water from the ground. So a Talmid Chacham is a person who is both intellectual and have good character traits. Okay. Now, when we look up to our forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, okay, we know that Avraham is exemplified with kindness, right? We all know Avraham is chesed, right? Kindness. When you look in Rambam and in many Jewish books, and we can imagine Avraham Avinu, did Avraham write a book? Of course he did, Sefer HaBris. Avraham wrote a book. We don't often learn it, but he wrote a book. Avraham was a genius. He said when he was 3 years old, he found Hashem. 3 years old. Okay? Yet, and also his children, Yitzchak and Yaakov, and all the Avos were brilliant people. Brilliant. Yet we do not mention their intellectual abilities. We mentioned their emotions. Chesed, kindness. Yitzchak was also brilliant. We mentioned his gevura, his restrictions, his yiras Hashem. Yaakov was tiferes, was beauty, was a combination of Avraham and Yitzchak. And he was our forefathers, brilliant people. They learned Torah. They kept the Torah before it was given. Yet we mentioned their emotions. Why? Because they inherit to us emotions. Our emotions are so ingrained within us that it says that to be a Jew, you have to be Rachmanim, Goyim Lechasadim, and Baishanim, right? Shy, which is fear of Hashem, Milas Chasadim, to do kindness. So, why is it? Because we as, let's say, simple people, most Jews, we are ruled by our emotions, and we are, it is the hardest thing to change. Yet, because it is the hardest thing to change, that is why it is our avoda to change our midas. Tikkun midas is very hard, but it's a very great avoda. Rabbi Shapiro, our Rav here, says that when he was 15 years old, he met the Rebbe for the first time, and he went to a Farbrengen. This was 1964, 65. He said, the only thing I remember from that Farbrengen, the Rebbe says, Tikkun Amidus is a shver avoida, is a very hard avoida. If you don't believe it, try it. Try it, you'll see it's very hard. To learn new things, new skills, new wisdoms we can do. But does that connect from our mind into our heart? Did it affect us? Okay, this is an aspect that we have to teach. I teach my patient, I speak with them about it, because it's so essential for human beings. I mean, how many people do we treat with depression, with anxiety, with psychosomatic problems, that we tend to turn to psychologists and medications instead of teaching people, you know what's the right thing, you're a wise man, let it affect your emotions, let it penetrate into your heart. Okay. So when the Torah says that we should respect a Talmid Chacham, it means the following. It means which Talmid Chacham? Somebody who you know is wise, and you know that his wisdom affects his emotions. Okay, this is the meaning. Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. A man is a tree of the field. The Gemara asks, is it? And the answer is yes. Our emotions is compared to a tree. Okay, and so now I gave you the general understanding. This is why we celebrate Chamisha Asar B'Av. Why otherwise we celebrate the birth of the trees? And the answer is, or the birth of Rosh Hashanah for the tree, is because we are compared to them. What we are compared? Our emotions. And we have to remember that our emotions is connected to the three Avos, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And the lesson is, there are two lessons here. One is for what we call Bali Asek, people who work in the world, interact with other people, versus the people who sit in Be'ohal Torah, sitting always in the tents of Torah. So they always teach students and only involved in Torah. So there are few people like that, Baruch Hashem. So they are our leaders and they teach us and we need them. So the Rebbe says we have two lessons. Those who are Bali Asek, what do they remember from the youth? They remember the time they used to learn in yeshiva, in school, elementary school and high school, the way it used to be, that we always need to know that our source of life, what we are connected, is our Torah, okay? Our roots in Torah. And our roots are the Avos. So we always have to put ourselves back and remember that we have to improve our midas, and we have to know that our midas are the hardest avoda, but we have to work on them. And to those people who are sitting in yeshiva and learning and teaching, they need to know that they also need to be the example of the generation, and their example is when they connect their Torah learning into their emotions, and they also need to do acts of goodness and kindness to the world. This is a preparation for the Sikha of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe is going to talk about Chamisha Asar B'Av and exactly about what we spoke, we learned. This was from a Sikha of the Rebbe, and this is from bringing on Chamisha Asar B'Av. After that, which is about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, after that there is a very beautiful video of the month of Elul, which is the month of Elul is, we have the mashal of HaMelech Basadeh, the king, which is Hashem, is in the field, meaning that here we are now on a Thursday night, the second day of Elul, and Hashem is next to us, Hashem is coming, Hashem is present, we're able to access him if we want. He is very close to us, he's very tangible and accessible, and all we have to do is to come close to him. And the way to come close to Hashem is through Torah and mitzvahs. So here I'm going to share now the screen for the video. Second. Minute share. I'm going to play it. Tell me if there is a problem with the video or hearing it.
Marshall, how you do demut insert the Melech Malcha Malach HaKodesh Baruch Hu the Rebish
This is the Sicha Bat HaMelech Basade.
in der Welt. Und das ist doch Marshall nach Beschreibung, wenn ein Mensch mit Weltsachen, was steht geschliches und lasses, leis, Bore, Gileres, Lachteni, und nicht nur, so mit bleiben, die mit der Masse von der Welt, nur so sein, die mit der Masse von der was a Stott, was das ist mit keinem Mischel von Menschen, von Mina mit Dabe. In die Stadt Gufe, nicht wie in der Stadt, der mit der Masse in die Gassen, oder in verschiedenen Städten von der Stadt. Nur wie der Mathe, mit der Masse, wie sie in Akira, mit Tüge gereist wird. Akira wird angerufen, Akira von einem Menschen haben. Wird das angerufen, oder der Ort, wird der Mensch gefindet, der Richter von seinem Leben. Und gefindet sich dort in einer Projekten Efen. Also nicht, dort behalten und lesbar und behalten sich und dann bleibt sich mit der anderen. Darf ich dort nicht der Ort, wo es über kann bleiben, geht weg von einem anderen, bis wann es kommt und nicht sein. Kilo, Platz, wenn das Wetter hat, Kilo und nach Merlech, ist bewusst, dass sie damals die Welt der Kilo, wie bald das ist, von einem Merlech. Wird sie nicht zusammenziehen, wie ein Pallet, was ein Pallet hat, der unterschiedliche Barriere, es hat in sich alle schöne Sachen und alle teile Sachen. Und nicht die Ruhe Jäger, alle heilige Sachen, halten wir das nicht in der Feld und nicht in der Mittelstadt, in der Gas. Man behält das Dabke an der Gier und den Menschen. Haben zusammen die Sachen gehören, Menschen finden der alte Rebbe noch klarer. Aber das wird verlangt, und es soll machen, wie die Welt im Isad Asma, jeder Jid arbeitet viel. Es ist damit wie ein Feld, was ein Feld hat wir die größten Möglichkeiten. Aber die Möglichkeiten in der Feld sind verhalten. Da haben wir so kommen ein Mensch und der Mensch soll dort reinlegen Kernblech und Ruhe und Peris. Wird das Dämmel davon auswachsen. Reis, Chito, Seher, Geffen, Sehne, Verime, in Reis, Schemen und Dorsch, alle gute Peris, welche das schrinkt auf der Nacht. Der Bleche, der Edes, wie Männer, Tetsi, Bleche, und welches hängt auf den Menschens Leben, als darf er kommen zu dem Mosen, was speist dann, gedeiht in die Schommer, so sein a gesunde Schommer, in a gesunden Gut, und dann gesunde Sachen, in a gesunden Leben, weil das ist verbunden mit dem Ämmessen gesund, und das ist verbunden mit Aufführung, mit der Anweisung von der Terror, und man darf sich nicht schrecken, was ist, das eine größte Arbeit, wenn wir beherrschen nicht die leichte Arbeit. Auf Fieber machen von der Welt, wie sie wird auf die Terror angerufen, bestimmt Sode, wie bald hat der Never gefühlt sich in der Welt. Ich dachte, verstandig hat das wie gleich auf die Arbeit, was gefühlt sich in der Welt. Dies war nicht, weil Lachas kam, wie kam auf Menschen, was gefühlt sich in der Welt. Und das ist doch ein bichedischer Lachen, wollten sich gegen sich als spezielles Gul und Kirches, was machen noch leichter, aber in der Arbeit. Mit keinem sein Schlichus, Fieber machen von der Feld, das werden Agile. Und bei Rennen Agile, nicht nur Agile, verstanden Menschen und nicht nur verstanden jeden, nur bei der Agile, bei den Melech, Malcha, Blochen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Und macht noch weiter der Arbeit. War, bis wann die Menschen gehen, reisen vom Feld und kommen zu ihm und suchen am Eis in der Hadbir, in der Hauptstadt. Und dort gehen sie und suchen Eis dem Armen, dem Alles von dem Männern. Und in dem Armen, in dem Alles suchen Eis dem Feder, in welchem der Männer gefühlt hat. Und was der Feder, der Feder selber ist verkehrte, aber der Männer geht von sich allein. Reis in den Feld und nach dort wissen alle, Adamo gefühlt sich der Melech Malcha Blochen in das Feld gefühlt sich dort, weil weiß und wartet, und der Moschel an der Kabel, dasselbe von dem Jobbes, beweist erscheinendigen Bonnen, wovon ein Schäfer geht und ihn nennt auf. Jeder Mensch, was gewinnt sich in Sode, nennt sie Jud mit von dem Jobbes, von dem Schäfer geht mit der schlecheldicken Bonnen und mit der leichtdicken Bonnen, und das macht noch leichter. Und das geht so noch bei Neite Kirches. Mehrere alte Menschen steigen mit jedem Wort von Teile, was kommt zu. Und jede Initiative, was kommt zu in seinem Leben. In das Mäßige finden, was steigt noch zur Echere Dargo. Und wenn man sieht, geht das so den ganzen Jahr noch an.
So what the Rebbe said, the Rebbe said that the king is coming to our place, and our place is called the field. So you have, wherever in this world we have a midbar, a desert, where there is really no people alive, people in the field who just work the field to produce and make something grow from the ground. And then you have the Ir, the capital, the cities where people usually live. So the king is coming to our place, to the Sade, to the people who are not in the level of the Ir. Okay, we are a little bit lower than that. He's coming to us wherever we are, and he sees what we do and how we work the field, how we produce what we are supposed to produce in this world. And Hashem is coming to us and wants our closeness with him. He wants us to get connected with him. This is the month of Elul. And the Rebbe is saying that because in the month of Elul shines the 13 attributes of mercy, which is the attribute which shines every Shabbos and Yom Tov. And the Rebbe asked, if so, how come in Elul we are allowed to work? Why isn't it a Yom Tov that, like in every other Yom Tov, Hashem is revealed, and we are not going? We have to sit in the house and go to shul. How come here we're allowed to do everything? And the answer is because Hashem is not in the palace. He is in the field. He's coming to our level. And that is the example the Rebbe is giving. Now we're going to go to the story about Chamisha Asar B'Av, about the tree, what we spoke the first time.
Und die Lebendigkeit verschlägt in der Lachluchis. Bei Neizach, bei Chamish Osir Bishvat, die dann noch in Chadoshim, noch der Ruh, wie die geworden Tredis, welchen Tredis, verschiedene Zmanim, wie man sagt, was ich bin mit Bosser, wachsen von Aris, Peris, Kollechet Bisman. Und so dort wird es gleich die stündige Scheile. Die bald hat das Verwossi, die ist mein Schlägig unter dem Tag, der Fall was dämmelt die Seele Srav Bilonis. Mit was in der Seder und mit verbindet hat die Chagigo mit Achilles Peris von der Ilon. was gegeven das nicht verstandig, nur adra wie das gelastiert. Am sagt, das ist ein Tag, wenn Eles Rabbi Lone ist in Druf Shein Nichla. Als sie können sein auf dem Beile, und gedehnte Beile soll sein, wie sie darf zu sein, darf das nehmen als Mann, Oruch, und jetzt soll sein, wie Schwemmel Steger nicht, dass sie soll sein, mit nächsten Mann. Ist eine von den Büren, was hieß, also da überweist man den Ilon, und überweist sich allein, was die Wichtigkeit und der Ilon und der Schwemmes, was es in dem da bekehrt. Stake, dass in dem nicht wie bekehrt, der Kavon ist der Chover, man soll doch mit Tapo sein mit Niba. Man soll hoffen, die alle Lochis hat Drusches, und das ist verbunden mit Tilche. Hebt sich schon ein Mensch bei sich tracht, zum allen Menschen darf reinlegen Zeit, und reinlegen die Gier. Und das darf dem abreißen, wie bald das darf sein, der Munno. Benehlen Dichter sagen, der Wetzer beim Matmiho, und so kommt dann nach Riechen Jodai, oder zu den Ganzen davon abdresseln, sagt man ihm, ab die Schaße kommt, erst angeheben, Alias Rabbi Lonis, soll wissen sein, was mit Gitten bekehrt. Und wir beweist dem Nemo, Pakolschere Kalvachemel, was tut sich mit Ahila. Und das, was du hast, ein Pipe, mit der Bar, was hat mich außer beschwart, schon Schlifnisse. Oder besteht schon im Schlifnisse. Oder bei Nesse von Gimmel schon im Schlifnisse. Oder bei Tomer Schivim schon im Schlifnisse. Oder der Dämmel gefühlt mit den ganzen Sturen, aber es nehmen die Unionen Mina Kirche la Pei. Wissen die, dass der Penis von dem Tomer wird haben in 70 Jahren Ruhe, oder sie haben wie der Meister für China Michael, wird es auch mal zweiterig. Ich stehe mit bei, dass der Ordnung, was hat in der Kirche der Mine von Eisasode, soll der Chumri so eben und Gashmi so eben. Lernen unter die in der Mine, was in der Kirche, bechol, als Vorwärts habe ich das, als gleich wird es auch aufgehaben, da verwiesen sein, als Hof das ganze Dorf versieht. Und der Tag ist voll, jene Hori David. Und Kitei soll sein, der Hori David, der Mensch, Kola, jen Kule, darf man haben, aber es volles Aje. Und nämlich alle in Jahren angegeben, bekehrt, und mit dem übergegeben, dem Skut, mit dem Kehr, mit dem Bichas Hashem, als soll reis nehmen, Nina Kehr, Chalapel, und die Simcha auf Tuvli Bol, und in der Leben wird Bichas Hashem Hitashi, nicht nur dem Achsela, Asher Yesterle, nur Echet, in der Buhe Baruch, bekamen mit Chemis und Echet mit Pashtus, gebracht in Friedis und Tur, in der Pirush Abloche von Besen, der Forsche Zwabbe ist, der Verzwehnung. Echet Lahachis behen, die Joni, was ist eine Muchra. Und Echet Lahachis behen, Nefesh Kolchai, die Joni, Scholtainu, und was verbunden, bin ich Juchen mit Chamischosse Beschwar, aber ich sagte, befehlig, dass es sein in einem Leben von Taschen. Und nie der Mine Gisrol, aber so braven die min Hogen Chamischosse Beschwar, durch Chesne Chitu Seire, nur Ogebakt in der Lechem und Paz, nur der Mine besteht in Druf, auf Wunde Shiva Mine, שנשתבקו בהם ארץ ישראל, soll man essen Peres, was sie verschaffen, להכיס בהם נפש כל חי, der Linie von Teinul, der Linie von Hitash. Der Dover Ashover lechol nefesh, kolmur lehil ist das Pashte. Hat ich aus, me geht zu, was darf die Nonnigste? In Mittentag, in Mittennacht, in Nonnigstnacht, wenn sie soll nicht sein. Und es hat etwas Aginja, wie Chelki Boelo, die das ist a Beile, die das ist a Lahabla Zweite Rie. oder geht guck auf sich allein, darf wissen sein, als Odlom, Lommel, Iwolle. Das, was mit dem bewiesen hat, die Peile, was mit dem bewiesen hat, zweiten Lied, was mit dem bewiesen sich allein, ist das nicht, der nicht, soll sehen, als sie durch Borische Kochele Beilom, was es ihm bewiesen, der soll damit mit keinem sein, wenn man nie Nivresi, Lechamisches Keini, und noch mehr, nie Lenivresi, Lechamisches Keini. Die ganzen Begeche, als soll Reis nehmen, wie die Unionen in Florim stehen, Begehe. Soll Reis bringen mit Bein und soll bringen in sein Chaim und in sein Chelgebäume und in dem Jura Proti, der Linie von Veniglo Kreda Hawaii, da soll Reis mit Bein, bei Begehe zu Unionen, der Guido steht in Machshove wie Tibur, wo das noch aber alles Bekehr, legabe den Tachlis, שבזה, אז soll sein mit Beil, Mamisch in Amerika של Piulo, Vasio.
That was 77. That was my first year practice.
So this was the Maimer and the Sikh of the Rebbe, and the lesson the Rebbe says is that we should be like the tree, like a Talmid Chacham. We have to have our intellect affect our emotions, and we have to have our behavior and character affect our surrounding and affect another person around us, another Jewish person, okay, to bring them closer. So the fruits that we have is the Talmidim that we have, okay? The fruits are our Masim Tovim, our good deeds, but also the Talmidim we're bringing. We want to make another tree, that person that we are influencing should not just be influenced by us, but he should become an influencing agent as an extension of us, going and affecting other people. And this is the message of this week's Parsha and of this month of Elul, that it's our mission to help each other and helping each other here, helping each other in Eretz Israel, and doing the best we can to bring Mashiach, godly revelation. So we're going to open up if anybody wants to say a comment or ask a question. Okay, it's a good Shabbos, and Akshiya v'chasima toiva l'shana tova misuka. A good gebench.
Yes, Dr. Levin,
Yes, Reuven.
there's a long time from 15th of Av to B'Shvat,
Okay.
planting
No,
of
but
trees.
It's in this week's Parsha. Ki Adam et Asada is from this week's Parsha. That's why I brought it today. Let's see how we led into the Parsha, Torah portion.
Yeah, so if the trees, the sap is running in the trees, starts to bring the harvesting from the trees in at Tu B'Shvat, when they plant new trees. It's several months. It's a new,
But the
new thought to
idea,
me.
we are looking at the tree potential. The potential of the tree is to make fruits, even though it will require a lot of hard work for years. It can be a few years or many years. You work very hard because you know it's going to bring fruit. So the Rebbe says, our personal character improvement is so essential for us that even though we have to, and we have to work hard to change it, we need to do it because it's going to bring its fruits. Don't give up quickly saying, oh, it's so hard to change my character. No, it's hard, but with hard work and time and patience and perseverance, you will be able to change and improve. And this is exactly why we came into this world. Shabbos. Go to Hatzlacha.